Hi, I'm Adam, the fertility advisor from Verdure Healthcare Consultancy in Malaysia. So today I've got another case that I would like to share with you about a couple that worked so greatly together as a team and ultimately brought them the success of having the dream family. Well, you see, traditionally, a lot of people would have thought that women would be the only one, sacrificing a lot during the IVF treatment. No doubt about that, because you see, once she makes that kind of decision, she would have to endure a lot of procedure. For example, first of all, she had to suffer at least 2 weeks of injection, and then, to go for the oocyte pickup procedure, and then afterwards, wait for the implantation. Then, that's the pregnancy test. So psychologically and physically, women will suffer a lot, during this kind of a treatment. But I'm about to introduce you to Mr. and Mrs. Sim. They broke this tradition and showed us that how even men can be very great as well during the IVF treatment. Well, I can still remember how daunted they were at first when they came to visit us. But you see, why were they daunted? IVF is supposed to help them to get what they want. Well, during the first treatment with one of the clinics in Penang, you see, what happened was that, of course, I have to be very clear that this, Penang clinic wasn't one of our panel. And then, during the first consultation with the doctor, usually he or she will ask you to do a hormone test as well as the sperm test. For Mrs. Sim, no problem, okay? She passed all her hormone tests and all that. But when it comes to the sperm test for Mr. Sim, here's the problem. Because in the sample, there was only one deformed, tailless sperm that was found. But the doctor wasn't being honest with him, wasn't being honest with Mr. Sim at all. Instead, asked him to proceed with the treatment. Yeah, Mr. Sim, you can go ahead with it, no problem. Well, it doesn't take a genius to know that, for an IVF, you need healthy sperm. Mr. Sim had his doubts, but, during the time, he couldn't have challenged the doctor. Otherwise, he shouldn't go there at all. Anyway, so Mr. Sim thought to himself, well, there might be some hope, okay? Finally, there's something that he can do, he can try. But the worst nightmare only began. It was only the beginning of the first nightmare. So they proceed with the treatment, okay? And then it's time for his wife to do the oocyte pickup, the meaning to extract the eggs. And then that's the exact same day where Mr. Sim has to produce the sample for the real deal. Only then the doctor told him that there are no sperm to be used because all of those are deformed, and even if they could find even one of them, okay, but there are only 2 samples as far as I can remember, okay, and then they are all tailless and deformed, just like the first time. So then the doctor suggested Mr. Sim, if you really want to proceed on with the treatment, then the only way is to borrow sperm, okay, and then that means he has to spend more money, okay? Because you see, borrowing sperm is not, cheap. It's not cheap at all. So as you can imagine, Mr. Sim was very frustrated with this unfair and dishonest treatment from the doctor. But then there's also even one moment he just want to walk out and then, end the treatment, end the nightmare, end the suffering. But at the same time, he didn't want his wife to suffer for nothing at all. So, reluctantly he has to accept the doctor's suggestion, so he borrowed the sperm sample from one of his closely related family members. But still, however, though, the treatment wasn't successful because 26 days after the implantation, his wife suffered a miscarriage. So then they came to us for the treatment, and then after understanding their cases thoroughly, and then we worked on improving the sperm quality, the sperm quantity, of course, and then we worked on Mrs. Sim's egg quality. Hopefully that will be able to help his husband get what they want. So then after a year of treatment, they went again for another ICSI, and because we have worked on that those areas focusedly, the treatment turned out to be very successful. The embryologist was able to make 6 grade A embryos. They implanted 1, froze 5, and then they had a very healthy baby girl last year. You see, nowadays, what I'm trying to say, that friends, is that you see nowadays using donor sperm for IVF is rather common. It is definitely a source of hope for those who really wanted a baby but couldn't produce any sperm sample due to genetic reasons or due to acquired reasons like a surgery. We used to have cases whereby the guy, they had a cancer and after a chemotherapy that destroyed both of his testicles, so they couldn't even produce sperms anymore. But still, according to our experience, using donor materials would be more widely accepted by the ladies, because no matter how, that embryo would be put back to their womb and then they had got 9 months to build sentiment with the baby. So as you can see, try to put yourself in Mr. Sim's shoe, and you'll feel that, after the baby is born, had the treatment been successful, then you'll be raising a baby that, wouldn't much be related to you, genetically speaking. So I would really like to use this opportunity to show my respect and appreciation to Mr. Sim and those like him, and the husbands that like him, who's got this courage to accept donor materials just for the sake of not letting your wives down. So you're definitely a role model husband. At the same time, I hope, friends, that through this story, I hope to be able to show you how important it is to find the correct way, at least the smart way on your fertility journey. Otherwise, you'll be wandering around the jungle without a compass. It's like that. So, you see, every fertility clinic, they will market themselves, how great their success rates are, how good the medical team is, and how affordable they are. But how many of them will really tell you the truth about IVF? Just like in Mr. Sim's case, the doctor didn't even know, perhaps the doctor didn't even know how to help Mr. Sim to resolve his what we call azoospermia, meaning that there are either no sperm or very little sperm that aren't usable for IVF even. So once again, friends, I'm so sorry to be long-winded, but there is no single easy answer to fertility. That's why at Verdure Healthcare, we combine the best practices of Chinese medicine, Western medicine, genetics, and even lifestyle techniques to shorten down your way to the dream family. So friends, thank you so much for watching, and stay tuned for next week's video. Please click the like button to support us, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for the latest fertility news and case sharing.